bounce to this, more bounce to this, more bounce to this, more bounce to this, don't bounce, they gon' really more bounce to this, more.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Fighters Walk podcast, episode 4. I am your host, Corey Keene, and we're here. We are back, episode number 4. If I thought starting a podcast, I was gonna enjoy it. I'm beyond that now. I'm having too much fun doing this. For anybody who supported either on Spotify or YouTube, I really appreciate you. I really do. It means a lot. I just love talking about something that I really enjoy. And that's what this is all about. I got a haircut. Got a haircut today. I feel good. And I'm excited to talk about some fights. Especially that fight night card from Saturday. Man, that UFC fight night, which I said didn't have a lot of star power. And I stand by that. It wasn't like what we've been getting with these pay-per-views and everything. But a lot of fighters made names for themselves. And that's what these cards are about. Trying to get more people to watch, a little more exposure. And there were some guys and ladies who made some names for themselves, who I'm going to go back and say, yeah, I'm going to watch them again. And I just saw them, and they're going to be, it's a fun fight. It's a fun fight. So, listen, I hope you watched it. Like I said, it was a great card. I'm going to pull it up now. If you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see it with me. And guys, like I said, if you had the time to watch the first fight all the way to the last, good for you. Because I also said, please watch the first fight. Make sure, if you have the opportunity, you need to watch Casey O'Neill fight. And let me tell you, she delivered. She delivered. Her second time in the UFC octagon and her second stoppage victory. Damn, she looked good doing it. Fun fight. No disrespect to Laura, because Laura was 7-1. No disrespect. But Casey O'Neill looked flawless. The choke, for her to get that finish, it had to mean a lot. It's like I said, it's her second win in the UFC octagon. Second finish. What's next for Casey O'Neill? She looks the part, and she fights the part. So if I'm the UFC, I don't push this really, really fast. I think she's in a great spot. I think you give her another similar opponent style and you build her up, because she has star written all over it. And this is coming from me. She has the it factor and the star power. So I was excited to see Casey get the victory. Super pumped, especially because I did put some money on it. Like I told you guys to put money on it. So if you listen to me, kudos to you, because you did make some money. So like I said, shout out to Casey O'Neill. Awesome victory. And the ideal way you want to start a UFC card. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's the way you want to start a UFC card. Now, like the nerd that I am, I watched the second fight too. I watched them all right in a row. Ricky Glenn. Wow. Didn't know much about Ricky Glenn, and I feel like I should have. And I'm sorry to Ricky Glenn because good Lord God. That's 37 seconds into the first round. Just drops him with a left. And then the flurries on top. It was Silva. Both guys I think had hefty layoffs. I almost bet on this fight too, and I almost went with Silva. Luckily, I didn't touch this fight. And shout out to Ricky Glenn because looked good. I'm excited to see what happens next for him. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I thought nothing of this fight beforehand, but that's why you watch because you don't know what the hell is going to happen. And you could get a guy like Ricky Glenn who knocks a guy out in 37 seconds. It was awesome. Moving right on. The third fight had Josh Parseghian. Split decision. Wasn't the most exciting fight, but the end was the best part. And you probably saw it on social media if you follow any of the MMA pages. Josh looks just like Michael Bisping. And he said that when Bisping was interviewing him at the end of the fight. And the picture is hilarious. If you have time, I think it's on ESPN MMA on IG. You have to check it out because they actually do look alike. It's hilarious. It's really, really funny. That's all I got for that one, though. Decision, split. Wasn't the most exciting fight. They did brawl though. They threw some hands. So, I mean, listen, I'm never gonna be that guy to say a fight's boring. One, because I've never actually got in a cage and fought myself, and I don't know what any of that feels like. So you'll never find me saying a fight was boring. I mean, that's what I think. I have no room to talk, so I'm not going to say it. I may say it wasn't the most entertaining, like they didn't do it, but guys, they're punching each other in the face, kicking each other. They're trying to do whatever they can to win a fight. So you won't catch me saying that. With that being said, moving on to Chaos. Moving on to Chaos Williams. I did bet on this fight. I did win some money. Chaos Williams looked great. He beat up Matt pretty bad for 3 rounds. But Matt is a tough dude. He's a tough dude. And he stood in there. And Matt is he was a former college football player. So I like that about him. He didn't have enough to get it done. And Chaos looked good. We're gonna move up a little bit to another fight that I had circled. Matt Brown versus Diego Lima. I'm speechless. For the first time in my show, I'm speechless. Because I had the conversation with my buddy. How is Matt Brown still in the UFC with the record that he has and for how long he's been in the record? And it's very like win some, lose some, win some, lose some, win some. And you know what I'm saying. Well, I'll tell you why he's still in the UFC. Because when he does win, he lets you know he wins. And he takes out guys like Diego Lima. Okay? Matt Brown, I think 40 years old, still kicking ass, man. Probably just bought himself another 3-4 fights. God, he looked good. And to be honest, it didn't even look like the hardest punch to Diego. It really didn't. But I'll tell you, he caught something, and he knocked the hell out of Diego Lima. So shout out to Matt Brown. Don't know what's next. Who do you give him? I don't know. But when Matt Brown's on the card, sign me up. Sign me up for some Matt Brown. Because it was awesome. Awesome to watch. Move on to another one that I had circled. And if you were with me in the betting ring, this was one that I potentially said, take Choi. Please just take Choi. Sung Woo Choi. Another fight that was a masterpiece. And let me tell you this. When Sung Woo Choi, when he fights again, I want to watch. Because he comes out, you think nothing of him. You really don't think much of him. And then what he did to Julian Erosa, holy. Left hook, bam, to the ground. Shout out Tapology, who lets me know exactly what happened. Left hook to ground and pound. And that's what happened. Shout out to Sung Woo Choi. That's what I got. I'll watch him again. Moving on. Marlon Chito Vera. Davey Grant. I took an L here. And that's fine. I went with Davey Grant. I thought he could get the job done. It was a good fight. Great fight for Chito Vera. Flawless performance. He literally looked good from the beginning of that fight straight through. And here's the thing about Marlon. He's got a little more to prove, I think. I think he was 15. I think he's ranked 15th. But if he could string together 2 to 3 more wins in a row, he's up there, man. I think he could be a champion one day. Ariel Awani said it. He thinks he could be a champion. I go with a lot of stuff Ariel says. I also think that he could be a champion. Did he look great against Jose Aldo? No. He lost the unanimous decision to him, but I think he's only going to grow. I think he's going to grow from that. So I'm kind of locked in with him now too. Fun fighter to watch. And he's not afraid to talk that talk because he's going to back it up. Co-main event. Sergey. He looked good. I think the bigger story here is Alexei Oleinik. Still doing the thing at 43 years old. Didn't get knocked out. Looked good the whole fight. Healthy. He was on the ground. I thought that's where he could potentially win the fight, is on the ground. The young gun, Sergey, was just a little too much to handle. Unanimous decision. And now it's going to be interesting to see where Sergey goes from here in that stacked heavyweight division. He's 13-2. Who do you give him now? You gotta think someone with a name. I mean, dude, he just beats Alexei Olenek, so you got to give him another name guy. Maybe not the biggest of names, but someone up there. I'm down to watch it. See what happens. Then our main event of the evening. Chan Sung Jung, baby. The Korean Zombie. Against Dan 50K Ige. Korean Zombie looked flawless. He looked 25 minutes. He looked great all 25 minutes. God damn, the Korean Zombie's just like turning back time. I think he got his black belt after too. He was rolling with Dan Ige. Like, man, he looked good. I thought he could have finished it 2 or 3 times. Didn't get the finish, but he did get the UD. And I'm locked in. Yo, it's so funny with his post fight when he called out Max Holloway. And then he went back on Instagram and he's like, I didn't mean it like that. I'm all in for Korean Zombie Max Holloway. The ship may have sailed for Max versus Yair. So we're gonna get into that next. So I think the next fight to make is Korean Zombie versus Max Holloway. And I'm going to tell you why. With Max Holloway out, Giga, the homeboy who just beat Cub Swanson, he's calling out Yair. Boom, make that happen. I think they're both great dance partners, and they will put on a hell of a fight. Let Max rest. Let Zombie rest. That's the next fight to make. I'm all in. I'm excited thinking about that fight with how Chan Sung Jung is fighting right now. You make that fight against Max Holloway. Now, is Max Holloway going to want that fight? I don't know. There's definitely way more for Korean Zombie to gain from that fight, and a hell of a lot more for Max Holloway to lose if he were to lose that fight. That's why I just think of scenarios in my head. Does it make the most logical sense? I don't know. To me, fight fan, outside, way outside, looking in, I'm with it. I am with that fight. So, I don't know. Overall, though, UFC Fight Night was a hell of a card. I said that a bunch tonight, but it really was fun. Another news I want to talk about. 2 more things. 2 more. Are we any closer to Francis Ngannou versus Derek Lewis? I know their first fight might not have been the best. May have been pretty slow. Not sure if anyone wanted to get knocked out that night. It's been a couple years since then. Don't know what John Jones is doing. Actually, that's a lie. I know what John Jones is doing. He's bulking up, and he's looking scary at heavyweight. I think he's like 255 right now. He ain't looking bad. He ain't looking bad. But with that being said, you don't know if he's going to fight. You know he's holding out for some extra dinero. Want to get Francis Ngannou back. Let's put him in there with the Black Beast, baby. Let's put him in there versus Derek Lewis. Because Derek Lewis, he might not look like Francis Ngannou, because Ngannou looks like a goddamn robot, an iron robot, Adonis of a human being. But Derek Lewis has got some power in his hands. Francis Ngannou isn't the cream of the crop wrestler. Someone might go to sleep this time. That's the fight to make in that heavyweight division. People want to see Francis. People want to see Derek because he's a character. And he's so funny. When that octagon door closes, that's the heavyweight title fight you need to make now. You need to make it now. What else do we got here? My producer just told me our last item on the docket. I'm my own producer, by the way. If anyone didn't get that joke, if I'm the only one laughing, I don't know. One more person fought on Saturday. One more person fought on Saturday. The GOAT. Anderson, the Spider Silva. No, it wasn't in the UFC. No, it wasn't even MMA. It was boxing. And goddamn, if you guys followed any of this, the Spider won this fight before they even walked out to the ring on Saturday night. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. missed weight, forfeited $100K, $100,000 of his purse to the Spider for missing weight. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. $100,000. Who knows how old I will be if I ever even see $100,000. Good way to start. Night before the fight, you're making $100K. I don't know what Anderson made in total, but I'm sure it was a nice payday for Anderson Silva. And you know what? Quite frankly, I didn't watch it live Saturday. I watched it Sunday morning. He didn't look bad. He did not look half bad. He was doing what he does, doing the typical Spider stuff, you know. I think there's some videos down here of it. You know, this is what the Spider does. Yep. Mm-hmm. When he used to do that shit in the UFC, man, that would get me fired up. Chavez just he kept doing his thing. Like I think that's how he wanted the fight to go. He wanted to put pressure on Anderson. Anderson just did enough. He did enough, and I think it was a split decision. Yep. Split decision. 77-75. 77-75. And then Chavez got a 77-75. Could it have gone either way? I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to be mad because, listen, Anderson Silva's first MMA fighter I ever was the guy to me. So to see him losing in MMA and then he says, I'm going to box. You hear guys saying this all the time, but you know what? It was nice seeing Anderson out there. It was fun. It was fun to see Anderson doing some Anderson things and having a little bit of success. Win's a win. And long live the spider, baby. Long live the spider. So that's going to do it for episode number 4. Oh, you know what? I did want to say one more thing. Pull out my phone here. When this episode comes out, we will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 days away. UFC 264. The return of the king, Conor McGregor. Listen, when that week, there's a good possibility I have a podcast every other day that fight week buildup. And last thing here about that, got my first guest locked. He's a lock. He is a lock. The way I see it now, come on. He's going to come on, talk a little bit about himself. And then we might argue Conor versus Dustin a little bit. So keep tuning in to find out when that first guest is coming on, because you're not going to want to miss it. Thank you again for all the support. I truly, truly do appreciate it. Every episode's getting a little easier for me. Like I said, it's staying fun. I love doing this, but once I get a guest, it's gonna be fun because I'll get to talk to someone else and bounce ideas off of them and find out some stuff about them. It'll be good. So like I said, once again, thank you for tuning in to episode number 4 of the Fighters Walk podcast. I'm your host, Corey Keene. Till the next one, thank you, and we'll be talking soon. Peace.
Get that shit back. But alright. Yeah. But y'all gonna just tune into this tape. And we're gonna keep going, keep bouncing.